This is Lisa Norton.
And this is Lora Zmak.
And together we're Material Girlfriends. So we are the creator of Quilters Color Therapy, and it's a block of the month, and we're doing a sew along, which has been so much fun. So we thought we'd give you a little tutorial and some help on how to create the first block. Block A is this one right here in the design.
It's also this one right here.
And it's also this one right here.
And this one right here.
So we need to master this block so that your other ones will be easier to do.
The block is made up of 9 units. The units look like this. They're a square and a square. You're going to find the instructions and your piecing and cutting instructions on page
28.
28. On page 28.
28. So you're going to be making 3, 6, 9 of these, but in 2 colorways. So to master this technique, it's not a very difficult block to put together, but there are some good tricks you'll want to know. First, you're going to be cutting your larger square and then plus your smaller squares, which is kind of a sew and flip technique for your corners. You'll draw a diagonal line on your black squares.
Or your background squares.
The next step is positioning 2 of those squares in alternating corners, and you're going to sew right on that drawn line.
So it's going to look something like this. Now you're going to want to audition. So go ahead and flip that and make sure that your alignment was perfect. So if when you flip this corner and you say, up, I'm a little bit off, you might want to seam rip and realign and sew it back a second time.
Positioning is very important with this piece.
So I'm pretty pleased with my flip and turn method. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those and proceed with the next step.
The next step then is to position 2 more squares in the opposite corners. And again, you're going to sew on the drawn pencil line. The step after that then is to, of course, audition these corners, making sure they align just perfectly, because when they are done, you'll see that it is 1/4 of an inch from this flat edge to the point. So you should have 1/4 of an inch of these overlapping triangles so that you have 1/4 of an inch on each side. Once your blocks are done, the next part is alignment. Alignment is really important. So when you're sewing 2 of these together, you're going to align this and then do your 1/4 inch seam. Most people will align at the corner and then sew to the end, but with this block, it's better if you align from the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin right at that V. I'm going to pin right at the other V. And you see what I've done there? I've just sort of balanced my 2 blocks right there on that pin. And that's all that pin's going to do. It's going to hold it right there. Now I'm going to line up my other ends. And then I'm going to pin on the right and left sides. Oops. Now when I have that all nicely pinned, this one's going to come back out.
Now Lisa, why did you do that? Why didn't you go ahead and pin it straight through the center?
Well, what happens, if I can keep hold of the pins, is if you pin it this direction, what it does is it rocks that point, and so it no longer is aligned. So pinning to the left and right sides, and I could actually even pin closer to the left and right sides of that point would be helpful. But if you pin directly there, by rocking your pin, you just misaligned your 2 pieces. Now when I sew, when I'm doing my 1/4 inch seam, I'm going to be going along with my 1/4 inch, and I want to make sure I don't go past this little V. In fact, I want to land right there, even if it's slightly short of my 1/4 inch. We'll call it a skinny 1/4 of an inch, but you're going to want to land just on this side, not even a thread width, but this side of that V. And then your alignment will look pretty cool.
If you're finding that your needle wants to hop around those intersections, change to a sharp needle. You might have dulled your needle over time, and especially if you can't remember the last time you changed your sewing machine needle, give yourself a nice sharp needle, and then it will pierce the fabric better, and you won't be hopping around, and we won't have any needle movement.
Okay, there you have it. We'll see you for the next block.